and then I'll be able to post it afterwards. So first of all, welcome to Michael, who I haven't met before. And Michael, it's always nice to find out where people are in the world. So could you unmute yourself? Thank you. And let us know where you are.
Currently, I'm in Vietnam, in
Okay.
the capital, in city Hanoi. Yeah, I'm teaching English. I'm here already for 4 months. Yeah, I came here in November. And I'm not planning to leave because the weather is just beautiful and the cuisine is just something amazing.
That's wow, interesting. I've just been asked to make a project for teachers in Vietnam. Actually, I'm working with a language school in the UK and a language school in Hanoi, who's going to put together a conference in the autumn, and the idea is to help Vietnamese teachers in particular to use drama in their classrooms, particularly around project-based learning. So it's a very specific kind of project that I've been asked to do. But
sounds interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll let you know how that goes. We're just kind of like in the planning stages at the moment.
That would be a pleasure.
Sorry, are you actually going there, or are you doing it on Zoom?
I was going to be going there, but now they don't want me to. They want it all to be online, because it's a long way away, and it's actually another theme of the project is being green, basically. And they didn't really want to fly me across the world to attend a one-day conference with a theme of helping to prevent climate change and so on. So that makes a lot of sense. So Michael is in Vietnam. Maybe each person could unmute and tell us where they are. And maybe just because we've got new people here, who you are currently teaching would be great, you know, age group and so on. Josie, let's start with you.
Okay, so I'm in Hong Kong and I teach any age group, but mainly primary. I'm in a primary school and I basically 1 day a week. And then the other 4 days I am in a tutorial center and I use drama there as well. Because I'm over 60, so I can't go and have a full-time job in a school. Never mind. It's not
okay, so you do a couple of different jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Amy, could you remind us where you are and who you teach?
Great. So I'm in Malaysia. I'm in Johor, which is near Singapore. And then I teach grade 8. I teach in an IB school and I teach English, art, which has a bit of performance, and then I teach INS. So just using the techniques that I've learned here in all the different subjects.
Fantastic. Yeah. And welcome, Sarah Jane. And could you remind us where you are and who you're teaching?
I am in Ottawa, Canada, and I am teaching grade 4, but I teach in a 4 to 8 school, so I have taught drama from grade 4 to 8, and I also teach French as a second language, so I use these techniques in my French class as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Yan will also be joining us, I can see, and she's in China. So now listen, has anybody got any particular topics that they wanted to ask about or issues that have come up recently for them? Amy, you had your hand up first. What were you going to talk about or ask about?
I was just wondering about it. How do I say it? Is it Commedia dell'arte?
Yeah. Well, I say Commedia dell'arte.
Commedia dell'arte.
I used to also say Commedia, but I normally say Commedia. I'm not sure. Does anybody speak Italian here?
I think it's Commedia, but I'm not sure.
Okay, all right then. So lots of nods for Commedia. So I've got a friend who's a Commedia teacher, and she calls it Commedia.
Commedia.
So that's probably why I do. There's a lady called Dee Hopkins who's like a UK expert on Commedia dell'arte, and she ran a few classes for me. which were absolutely fantastic. And if you want to see somebody doing Commedia dell'arte, just Google her name, because she's produced a lot of videos with the National Theatre. And her name is Didi, D-I-D-I, Hopkins. Hopkins. Didi Hopkins. She's a very, very inspiring teacher.
I've heard of it.
And she uses Commedia dell'arte as well in her work in training women in management, which I think is really interesting. So she uses the kind of stereotypes and so on, I think, to explore different situations in business. Hello and welcome. M.E. Suarez, could you remind us what you would like us to call you? Just unmute yourself, please. If you can.
Good morning, I'm Marta Suarez.
Could you repeat that?
And I'm sorry, I don't have much time. I'm waiting for a class in 15 minutes.
Okay, well let's just move on. We're just talking a little bit about Commedia dell'arte. Amy, did you have any more questions about that?
Well, it's actually just because I'm going to try, this is my first time I'm ever going to try and introduce it to a class in grade 8. And I was just wondering like what kind of games I could play with them and what I could kind of do. I was also thinking of getting them to make little masks and things like that. So it would be a combination of using like the stereotypes and archetypes and things like that, but then also to make the masks and put a little performance on. But I don't know what other ways we could kind of use it.
Have you seen my resource on the Inspiring Drama Teacher site? Yeah. So maybe we could have a look at that and I could just talk through some of it. Because sometimes it's helpful to talk about things rather than just read them. So I could do that. Hands up if you think you know what Commedia dell'arte is. Okay, so that's, oh yeah, not everybody. So what I will do is I will share my screen and I will open our course website and show you my little resource. Because that is a good way of introducing you to what Commedia dell'arte is. So let me just find that and open it for you to see. Excuse me. So here we go. So I've got in my collection of lesson plans, we have got Commedia dell'arte. So this is actually based on an article that I wrote for a drama magazine some years ago. So what I'll do is I'll just download that and then open it in a separate window. There we go. Can everybody see Teaching Commedia dell'arte nice and big on their screen?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so this is just to remind myself as much as anybody else here, but Commedia dell'arte is basically a style of performance that while it was popular in the 16th century in Italy, has got echoes still today. And improvisation is really based around Commedia dell'arte. So as it says here, professional actors performed. And what they did, they could sing, they could dance, they could mime, they could clown and juggle. So they had lots of different skills. They would often set up their stage in the marketplace, maybe on a cart. And one of the most crucial things about them is that there was a company of actors who traveled around together, and each of them always played the same character.
Oh, yeah.
So there would be one actor who was Harlequin, or as they call him in Italy, Arlecchino. And there would be the lovers, who would normally be younger actors, a man and a woman. There would be the doctor, and there would be various other characters that you can look up. And it was always very funny. it was often quite rude, and it was very, very popular. And one of the interesting things that I find interesting about it is what they call lazzi, Lazzi. And these were little routines. So they had, before they did a performance, they pinned up a sheet of paper backstage, so they would have some scenery.
Oh, yeah.
And on it would be, they would write down a list of scenes that they were going to do that day. And in Italian, this is called the scenario. And that's it. The word scenario that we use in theatre comes from that. So it was a list of scenes. And that's all they knew, except that they had improvised all of these scenes before. And within the scenes, they would also introduce lazzi. So there would be these little comic routines that they would bring in. And they could be quite random. So somebody might just suddenly start on a particular routine, and other people would join in. So I'm just scrolling through just to find my section on lazzi to show you a bit more about that. So here's some examples of comic routines that they use. Arlecchino poses as a statue. When the other characters' backs are turned, he plays tricks on them. Now, you may know that there is a drama game just like this.
Yes.
I call it, what do I call it? Either Night at the Museum or something like that. I think I may use different names for it. But the idea is that everybody in your class can play this game all at once. So you tell them that they are exhibits or statues in a museum, and everybody has to strike a pose. And then one person is the night watchman. And they go around. They could have a torch, or they could just be looking around. And every time they look at a statue, it shouldn't move. But when they look away from statues, the people behind them can start to move and make a different shape. And the idea is the night watchman has to try and catch them out. So as you can see, that actually came from one of the Commedia dell'arte games. So here's another one. A shopping list is read out, but everything is mispronounced. So 4 chickens becomes 4 broken pillars. And what the reason I'm chuckling to myself there is that I've just remembered that this is the basis of a sketch by 2 comedians from the UK called the Two Ronnies. And they made a classic sketch on TV many, many years ago, where there's a shopkeeper in a sort of general little UK shop that sells everything. And a customer comes in and he says, "Fork handles." He's got a Cockney accent. Okay, so he says, "Fork handles." And the shopkeeper says, "Oh, right, 4 candles. Hold on a moment." And he looks around behind him and he brings out 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, and he puts them on the counter. And the customer goes, "No, 4 candles." And he sort of looks around and then he has a thing and he says, "Ah, fork handles." And he, you know, like a garden fork has a handle and a metal part. So he brings out these kind of wooden handles. And there's a whole sketch where everything that the customer says is misinterpreted by the shopkeeper. So you can see how, you know, these original games, and there are hundreds of them. I've got a book somewhere up there, which has a list of literally hundreds of these. Arlecchino tries to clean Pantalone's hair with a very large rake, as you can see in the picture here. That's what's going on. So they're really daft, but, you know, you can imagine how funny they were. Lazzo of the ghost. Pulcinella dresses up as a ghost, but when he sees how frightened the others are, he becomes frightened too. Okay. So you might want to try some of these out, you know, with students. They're all there on the website and you can download this PDF from there. Let me just have a look through the whole document to see what's in there. So you're saying, what can I do to introduce Commedia? Well, first of all, I think what we need to do is you think about physical theatre and movement. And that's why I've got this game called Walk Together as the first activity. And that is where, it's a fantastic game. You get everybody to spread out and you say, when I say go, I want you to walk. And when I say stop, I want you to stop. So they walk and you tell them to change directions and then you call out stop and they stop. Maybe you do that a couple of times, depending on how well they did it. And then you explain that this time they're going to do it as a group. So it's actually about complicity. It's about understanding each other and working together using body language and awareness. So this time, and everybody says, well, how will we know when to walk? And you say, well, you've just got to try and sense it as a group. So everybody's standing there and then somebody moves and hopefully everybody moves with them. It's quite easy to start off moving, but it's quite hard for everybody to stop together, because you might get somebody over on one side of the room that stops, but people on the other side don't see it. They keep going. So it's one of those games, as I've said here, practice it several times until the group makes it work. Yeah, I'll explain a couple more activities and then take some questions from you. So one more variation that you can use with the activity of walk together, if they are doing this really well, and especially with slightly older children or adult students, you can introduce the second or another part to this, where so the group is spread out in the space and you explain that one person has to move on their own and then stop. Simple as that. That's quite easy. Then two people have to move at the same time and stop together. Well, what normally happens is people are looking around, maybe somebody catches someone's eye and they move off and they walk around together, they watch each other and stop. And then three people have got to do it. So you just go up one step each time. And as you do this, it's a real challenge, because what often happens is you might get four people instead of three, or two people. And if any time it goes wrong, you start again with one person. So it becomes a challenge. And it can be done. You might be able to get up to like five or six. So first of all, one, then two, then three, then four. And the question students often ask is, does it always have to be different people? So if you've got 30 people, then you could say, yes, it should be different people. But if you've got a smaller group, then no, because some people will have to move again. Okay, actually, I will stop there because I've been talking for a while. Does anybody have any questions about what I've said so far? Well, I'm such a brilliant speaker then. I'm glad about that. Okay, so, another thing that Amy and I'm sure others will know, if you know something about Commedia dell'arte, you had servants and you had a master and you had clowns and you had a doctor and you had the lovers. You had people at different social levels. And in Commedia dell'arte, this is absolutely crucial. So it's what we call status, or what some people would pronounce as status or status. So British people say status, and that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So with status games, what you're doing is you're looking at how one person can be more important than another. But that word importance or status can be interpreted in many different ways. So in the first game that I play with people, I sometimes call this status image. They work in pairs, and you explain that they have to make a freeze frame where one person has a higher status than the other. Now, with younger kids, obviously, you need to discuss this and give some examples of what status might mean. For example, a teacher and a pupil, a policeman and a criminal, a mother and a child, or whatever it might be. And with adults, obviously, you can explain that status can be quite subtle as well, and they often change. For example, if two people are having an argument, one person will try and be higher status, but then the other one might become higher status. So they have to very simply make an image. So you might get somebody who is doing this to someone else and someone who is doing this. So you've got maybe a teacher and a child being told off, or whatever it might be. And the amazing thing about this is I normally go, so if you've got pairs and you've got them around the room, have a look at each one and ask the class who they think is higher status. And it's not always obvious. So quite often it will be obvious and they'll say, oh yes, Jeremy is higher status and Lisa is lower status. But quite often, even though the pair think they've made it clear, it won't be. And the other thing, I think I've talked about this fairly recently on one of these meetings, is use the freeze frame to really discuss things like body language, eye direction. So, for example, somebody low status will often not look at the other one in the eyes. Somebody high status will look somebody straight in the eye. Okay. You can really play around with this. And you can also get them to try and make an equal status freeze frame as well. So it's something you can really explore. If you wanted, you could also give them specific situations. And taking it further with older students, it's often really interesting where statuses are reversed. You know, where, for example, the child is the one who has the higher status than the teacher, or the nurse has a higher status than the doctor. Yeah, so, okay. So I won't read this whole thing out because obviously you can read this and download it. But that kind of gives you, you know, a way in to look at status and then start to take some particular characters. And here we've got Pantalone, who's the old master of the house and walks with a stooped back. So you can get them to practice the movements. And I would say, don't worry about it being correct. You know, there are teachers who teach about Commedia and say that you should move in this particular way or that particular way. But what's probably more important is if they define the characters. So you could all practice moving as an old person. You've got some hints here, taking small steps, but has lively and expressive hands. You know, that gives you quite a lot, and they can explore that. And also you can compare the characters to animals like a chicken or a turkey. Arlecchino, Harlequin, some of them will know that, and you can see the picture of Harlequin on the right there, who's a servant who is light and agile and often compared to a cat or a fox. So again, you can download lists of characters from Commedia, and there's lots more. Okay, Amy, does that give you some ideas, or do you, and please, do you have any more questions that I can follow up?
No, that's okay.
I think like this is all about having a lot of space. So trying this online might be a little bit tricky to like try some of the games and things like that. But so I'll give it a bash in a classroom with a bit more space.
Yeah, I would say. Interestingly, just about a week ago, I was watching a video of Dee Dee Hopkins where she did Commedia during lockdown online, and it might be worth having a look for those videos. I could have a look for them actually and see if I can find them for you. Let me just have a quick look, and then if I find it, I'll share it. So,
And then we can do it.
she was doing it with experienced teachers of Commedia, but it might give you some ideas. Let's have a look. Dee Dee Hopkins. No, I can't find it right now. Let's find.
No worries, I'm sure I'll have a...
Yeah, but yeah, no, I would say that would be harder to do online. Just gonna share something with you. So let me put this into the chat window. Right, here we go. So chat window and right. So there, I put a link to a web page, and on that page, which I will just show you, there's a whole selection of videos from Dee Dee, and they're really fun, and they really do introduce you to how Commedia is used. And I don't know if anybody ever saw One Man, Two Governors, which was made into a televised version, but she was the Commedia advisor on that. So that was based on a Commedia dell'arte play, which became, you know, an international hit. So I'll just show. Now this is quite bizarre because she's talking in nonsense language here, or as they call it in Commedia dell'arte, grommelot.
All right, I'm fucking telling you to get it right. It's going right here. Yeah, all right. Grommelot is emotional babble speak. It makes absolutely no sense at all in language, but it sounds like language, and extraordinarily enough, people understand it. As a tool, it's a fantastic improvisation game to free the brain, because you do not have to use logic, you do not have to make sense, and you do not have to think or judge. You listen. It's the rhythm, it's the sound, it's like opera, it's on the breath, and it's really, really clear to the other actors.
Okay, so yeah, well, you can watch through that link. You can watch the rest of that video and some other ones that she's made. Yeah, has anybody else got any thoughts about doing this kind of thing online? Don't all rush at once. No, that's fair enough. I'm just thinking about it now because I hadn't thought about that aspect before.
Hi.
Josie.
Just wondering, we could actually do some freeze frames. I know they're not the same as doing it in the classroom, but we could pair up and do a freeze frame. You could give us like one of those scenarios.
Yeah.
And we could do it that way.
That would be a good idea. Amy, are you able to pair students, or do they all have to be together because of their age and responsibility and so on?
No, I can pair them.
You can pair them. Okay. Well, let's take some latses then and try them out in some breakout rooms. And I will choose some and give them to you randomly. So I'm going to grab some from my list, and I'm going to put them in. We need 3 of them. So let me just put them into the chat. Let's see. So, right, here we go. So first one I'm going to do is, oh, who's put Michael Lee? Sounds like She Sims character. Could you tell me about that, Michael?
I beg your pardon, I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, there was something you put in the chat. Oh no.
The Sims. Like, do you know the game? Like the
the
game,
Sims,
like it's
yeah.
the Sims life simulator. Yeah. So they created the very own Simlish. They call it, like, not English but Simlish.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the video, she sounds like.
I have heard that before. Yes, I've played that game in the past, and I remember they do have their own language. Yeah. So we also have some other words for that kind of language. Can you think what words we use when we're talking nonsense language? Anyone think of one?
Like gibberish.
Gibberish, yeah, that's a common one. A lovely word we've got in English is gobbledygook. Have you ever heard that one?
How to spell that?
Okay, I'll put it in the chat in a minute. So I've put into the chat 3 different latsi now, and I'm going to also type in the word gobbledygook. Yeah, there we go. Gobbledygook. So yeah, that's another word for nonsense language. Hands up if you've ever used gibberish or gobbledygook in your drama lessons. Okay, it's really worth having a go with it. I mean, if you've got children or you've ever listened to children playing, you will probably have heard them doing this. You know, it's a game that children sometimes play, just talking in silly, made-up language. So normally they find it quite easy. And I've used it as a rehearsal tool, by the way. So, for example, when I've been rehearsing a play and before the actors have learnt their scripts, I sometimes have used gobbledygook or gibberish as a way to rehearse a scene. So, you know, when you're rehearsing something and maybe there's quite a bit of action in the scene, but everybody is walking around carrying a book and, you know, they can't really do the action because they're still reading from the script. So what I do is tell them to do the scene in nonsense language. So you just say, in this scene, you know what happens. This is what happens. You come in, you have an argument with that character, and that one throws something at the wall or whatever happens in the scene. And then they do it, and they do it in gobbledygook. So they have no scripts to hold, and they can just come in and they can really concentrate on being their character and doing the movements without having to remember what words to say. So it's a fantastic shortcut in rehearsals. Okay, so I'm going to get the old where's my I always find this a bit difficult. Where are the breakout rooms? They're always hidden in the 3 extra dots menu, which is annoying. Right, so I'm going to make 3 breakout rooms. No, that's not. I'm going to say
Must these be done in gobbledygook?
yeah, why not? Why don't we combine the 2 ideas? Yeah, I think that's a real challenge. We're all up to it. and it means we don't have to worry about our English if English isn't our first language anyway. Sorry, I'm going to do the breakout rooms thing again. And sorry, I'm having, let me just stop talking for a minute.
I know the feeling.
Oh. Now, for some reason, it's only giving me one breakout room. So I'm having to add rooms one by one and then assign people to them, which I'm doing randomly. Okay, so let's try that again. Move to and move to. Right, here we go. And great. So I've made 3 rooms. Sarah and Jan. You are. Sorry. If only I had 4 hands, this would be a lot easier. So Sarah and Jan, you are going to do Lazzo of Nightfall. All right. That's Sarah and Jan. Josie and Michael, you are going to do Lazzo of the Stupid Discovery. Okay. I'm going to give you a good 5 minutes because we don't really know what we're doing, but we're just going to have a bit of fun. Amy and
are we doing
to do
status with the 2?
Oh, which one did I give Michael just now?
Stupid Discovery.
All right, good. So Amy and I are doing the other one, the statue one, okay?
But David, do we need to do status as well?
Well,
could
yeah.
do.
Yeah, why not? I mean, think about status. It's not, I'm not saying you have to do it, but I think it will come into it. Okay.
Yes.
So, the breakout rooms are really doing my head in today. Okay, here they come.
Hello. You're muted.
Yeah, it mutes you when you come into the room for some reason. So, I can't see the in the chat window. I can't see that thing anymore.
Oops.
In yours.
Wait, let's see if I did manage to copy it. I was thinking about that. Let's just
I've got it here on my PDF, so I'm going to copy it again.
I've put it in the chat. How do I say that name?
Which one?
Alkino?
You nearly got it. Arlecchino.
Alekino.
You got it.
Yeah. Alekino. Okay, so he poses as a statue.
Oh, you've pasted it in as well. We both pasted it. Brilliant. So Arlecchino poses as a statue. When the other characters' backs are turned, he plays tricks on them, returning to his original position when they look round. Okay.
So sometimes little boys do this, like will stand in the queue and then touch your shoulder, and then when you turn back, they like they haven't. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. That's one of my favorite games to play when I was a kid. We were always doing it, especially in school assembly, for example. You're standing in rows, and then you go, and someone go. So there we are. We've already got one thing that Arlecchino could do.
Okay.
So let's say that Arlecchino is a statue in a marketplace, and he or she could be some kind of grand statue, whatever, or it could be the thinker, maybe.
Okay.
And so so maybe, all right, this is my idea, but you can throw yours in as well. So very simple, without worrying about other Commedia characters. Let's have Arlecchino and somebody who's going shopping.
Okay.
So for example, Arlecchino could do the thing of tapping them on the shoulder, and they turn around and nothing's there. Arlecchino could also steal things from the bag. I mean, it's quite difficult to do 2 people, isn't it? Because if you go on.
So what I was wondering is, in a classroom situation, is it supposed to be that they create the skit and then do the skit for the class? Or is it supposed to be like you send 2 students out and then you explain to the other students what they're supposed to do, and then the other students come in and we just watch how it all plays out? Or how would you do this in a...
No, I would say, if I was doing it, I'd basically explain one of the situations, like the statue, and then divide them into groups to work out a little sketch that they could then show the others. Yeah,
I love that. Taking stuff out the shopping
bag.
And then you kind of like, but I'm sure it was on my list and I put it in here and now it's not here. So yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, and also maybe you could have stealing a hat.
Yes.
So, I don't know if I've certainly got a hat here that I could use if I was the shopper. And I could pretend that the statue took it or something. Do you want to? Should we do that?
Yeah,
you could be Arlecchino. Just randomly.
So like being the thinker, or
whatever you like.
Okay.
And the other thing about Arlecchino being a statue is that just thinking about this, what he could do is he could be different statues. So the first time the person comes in and they sort of look at the statue, he could be the thinker, and then they look away,
take off the hat,
and maybe the hat is taken, so they look back and think, and then look at the statue, and the statue's in a different shape. And maybe the statue is wearing the hat. That would be really good. Yeah.
So do you do changing, like tapping the shoulder, change the position? So little things like, so you thinker, tap shoulder, change, then like pull the ear, change, and then eventually take off the hat.
Yeah.
Like another change, and then third time you've got the hat on. Or do you know? So there's a progression. I think that's
brilliant. I think we should do it as simply as that. So.
Now, what order do we go in?
Let's go tapping on the shoulder.
Okay.
Because if you're the statue, you could kind of reach out and go like that, couldn't you?
Because I could start as thinker.
Yeah.
Then tap the shoulder, and then you turn around, and I can be like thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, thumbs up. Okay.
Excellent.
Then you turn again, and then I'll...
Maybe I'm waiting for somebody. Keep it simple.
Okay, so, and then I pull your ear.
Yeah, so maybe I'm waiting and looking, and then...
Okay, so I'll go from that side.
I'm going to have to pull my own ear while you're doing that. So it's kind of acting like you're pulling my ear. And then you're going to be doing that, yeah?
Okay. So...
right. And then third time, I think stealing the hat. I'm just going to go and get a hat. Which one? I want this one. Yeah. So, of course, the only thing is, have you got a hat where you are at your house, or in your study, or wherever you are?
I've only got one that's supposed to be a Mary Poppins hat, so it's not like. Oh, I've got a cap.
Yeah,
that's black.
Good. Yeah, good.
Let me quickly get.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is my running hat.
Oh, your running hat.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me get my cap. That's more. Oh no, this will do. These will do. They're similar enough. Yeah. So You don't have that on first of all, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I come on and
so do I steal the hat first and then do another position, or do I just put it on?
I think you put it on and make a new position.
Okay, so steal it and then do something like, what's the next one that I do?
So you've done, what was the first one? You've done that
So
one.
finger,
You've done
thumbs.
thumbs up, and you've done this one.
And then with the hat.
How about, why are you looking at me for? Huh?
What's up?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay then.
So is this okay because it's comedy? It is a somewhat slapstick.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah.
to quickly? Should we practice that?
Yeah, I think we should.
Sorry, I need a lot of practice.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's fine. So, I'm coming on, and
So do you come on and say?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So I come on, and you just be there as a statue. Okay. Okay, so that's me. That's the noises of me looking at you.
Okay, and then
and then I'm going to look away, and you're going to tap me on the shoulder. Now, how will I know?
So I know that. So I'll be like this, and then we'll just count to 3, and then I'm just scared you turn around. Is that okay?
So I'm going to go. It's a bit like Mr. Bean, isn't it? In fact, he's another one who's stolen from Commedia dell'arte, because he does not. You know him, don't you?
Yes, that he does that. Yeah. Very facial, so like what he's thinking, and the camera. I suppose the way the camera moves, you're like, oh, now he's going to do something. But yes, that's a clever one. Okay.
All right.
So and then you turn, and then we count it.
Yeah,
so as soon as you turn, then I'll move my hand. 3. Oh.
Did
sorry.
you count to 3?
Sorry,
I mean, even if it's not timed properly, it won't matter. I think people will get the idea. So I'll go, and then I'm going to look up here as though I'm looking at the statue. And then I'm going to look away.
And then I pull your ear.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest that we only do one more thing, which is to steal the hat.
Steal the hat. Okay.
Just because
I think it's too much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
So I'll look away again, and then I'm going to cut the hat off like that. I don't know if you saw that. So so I'll go. I'll count to myself 1, 2, 3 when I've turned around. Then I'll go. Okay.
Bravo.
Right. I think we should return.
Okay, and I'll try not to laugh.
I threw my hat away and I couldn't find it. Right.
You did a good job.
Okay. I will.
Sure. Even if it's not perfectly timed.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna kneel down.
That was fun. Thank you so much.
That was fun. Yeah. So hopefully that's given you a few ideas as well.
Yeah.
Right. So we can go back now. So I'll see you in there.
Absolutely. We all muted again when we came in.
Hello, everybody. I don't know how long that took you, but it took me and Amy a little while to work out what we were doing. So that's why it took a while. Hope you managed to work something out. So Josie and Michael, I'm going to choose you to be first because I randomly chose your names first before. So everybody else could switch off their video so that we just concentrate on looking at Josie and Michael.
Yeah, Josie, in we go.
Here we go. Okay, you ready?
Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna get out. 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 I'm gonna get out.
Hey,
And a bow by the end.
well done. Yes, brilliant work. Great. So anybody got any guesses about what was going on there, or think they know exactly what was going on? I've got an idea. Anybody else? Amy's hand up.
Also, it's about wearing the masks and being hygiene, like washing your hands and stuff when you sneeze and cough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the first time you did it, you got, for some reason, you got your mask all wet and covered in snot or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Was you put
I
it
put it on my
on your head?
first.
Ah, okay.
And then he put it on my face. And
Yeah.
then I splotted all over it. And then I gave it back to him.
Ah, okay. And it was all snotty and horrible.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. No, that was brilliant.
If I may have one more second, like to say goodbye to each of you because I'm gonna have my next class in 5 minutes. So thank you. Like that was actually, like I'm lucky that I was the first one. Thank you, Josie. It was a pleasure to work with you today.
Welcome.
Thank
Nice
you, David. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Everyone, good luck.
Yeah,
come
Michael,
next
look
time.
forward to seeing you again.
Bye.
Do come back, okay?
Bye.
Right. So Jan and Sarah Jane are going to be up next. All right. I'm going to stop my video.
Oh no, we have to do the other side. We were on the other side before. I'm going to move you over to the other side. Okay.
That's funny. Or climbing a ladder.
Yeah, well, we found it a bit difficult because ours was very sort of physical and we weren't in the same space. So we were trying to overcome that challenge.
No, I did
okay.
get that. And
Yeah.
I managed to move your pictures around on the screen so they were in the right way. So any idea what was going on, Josie and Amy? What do you think was happening? Any guesses?
I think they were trying to climb a ladder.
Yeah.
Is that right? I mean, but I like the way you fell off the ladder. You're like, no, let me show you.
Yeah, and then she fell off. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Really good slapstick. And you know, this is when you think about silent movies, I think they are another good example of how Commedia dell'arte has had its effect on modern culture. And when Amy and I were working, we also thought of another character who should pay homage, and that is Mr. Bean.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
because
Yeah.
he speaks in nonsense language, and he, you know, he works in mime and he uses big expressions. So, you know, I think he's also very similar. So we're now Amy and myself are going to show you our little performance. Oh, oh. Okay, you can come back. Right.
That's really funny. Yeah, that's really good.
So yeah, that was kind
Night
of,
at the museum, right?
it was sort of like that. Yeah, it was sort of like could have been a museum or a marketplace or something like that. Now then. Okay, now it is actually, sorry, I'm just moving my computer back because I've got to plug it in before it runs out of power. There we go.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah.
It is time. So
Yeah.
we talked about something short and simple and sort of, yeah, covered a bit about Commedia dell'arte and did some fun sketches. So I hope that was of use to people. Maybe you can adapt some of that. And
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
good. Yeah, good fun to do some improv. And
Yeah.
maybe we can do some more next time as well. Thanks to everybody for making time today.
Well, I just wanted to make one comment before we leave that I did my first performance on stage with my students. It was the first time we performed in front of an audience. So we did, it was a 10-minute play on the Chinese zodiac. So all the children were different animals. And we had been working earlier on in the year using animal masks and trying to get our bodies to move like animals. And then we used those skills in the little 10-minute play. It was a script that I found on Drama Notebook. But it was very exciting. It was the first time that I think I had more stage fright than the student.
So you were up there performing with them.
Well, I was in the audience, but I was holding my breath the whole time.
Yeah. I guess we all know that feeling.
Well, it's, you know, you don't have any control. You know, you can tell them you need to have your lines memorized. You have to be ready. We're going on stage, and you know, they're 9-year-olds, so
yeah.
They don't always do their homework.
Yeah.
No, I know the feeling.
Yeah, but it was a nice feeling to get up on stage in front of parents.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done. Well done. Jan.
Yes. Just one more question for Sarah. Sarah, do you have any like video clip with the performance of the performance? So would you like to share a little bit? Because I'm really interested to see how do the kids from your side to do the Chinese zodiac play.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah, we did one together, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe you could share it. How would you like to share it? Would you be able...
Well, I have it on a Google Drive link. Let me see if I can just share it in the chat quickly.
Okay.
Thank you.
How will I find it? 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
Or put
It
it on
was,
the Facebook page.
yeah, I could do that too. Why don't I do that? Because it might take me a minute to find it. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah,
where.
sure. It's quicker.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah.
That would be
Okay.
great. I'm sure we'd
I'll
all
do
love
it.
to have a look at that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.
I'm still looking at you.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like,
Josie, I was going to
yeah.
talk to you about websitey things. So
Quickly.
everybody else, goodbye. Thank you very much.
So
And
much.
see
Have
you
a great
again
week.
soon.
Take care.
Bye. Nice to see
See you
you.
next week.
Bye,
Bye.
Amy.
Bye.
Bye. I'm just going to see
Okay,
if I
so-
can. I was going to see if I could stop. Oh yeah, stop recording.
Okay.
Just press that button.